Here's a slightly different format from what we've seen before, but really it means the same thing. I'm either asked to multiply two functions together with that dot, of course, for multiplication, or I'm asked to divide two functions. So you can see I've gone ahead and started these two examples. And let's actually talk about the division one first, because there's not really a whole lot to talk about. In this case, I've set this up so I have the f function being divided by the g function, and really that's just going to be my answer. I mean, the only thing we could try to do is maybe factor the numerator and try to cancel things out as we've done before, but this numerator doesn't factor, and so I'm just going to leave that as my new function when I divide these two together. Now, the only thing you may want to note is that we do have a domain we have to watch out for. There are certain numbers we would not want to plug in for x, because remember, we never want to divide by 0. So if you're asked to talk about the domain or talk about what x can or cannot be, you'd want to figure out what would make the bottom of this equal to 0, like we've done in the past. So if I solve that little simple equation, I find out that if x was equal to 4/3, that means I would be dividing by 0, and that would be really bad. And so what I want to do is I probably want to leave a note on this that even though that is the function I get when I divide, I want to make sure that x can never be 4/3. Every other number is fine, but I want to maybe state the domain x can't be 4/3. All right, anyway, let's get back to the multiplication one, because it's a bit more interesting, or a bit more work, I suppose. So I'm asked to multiply these two functions together. Well, you could go ahead and begin by sort of distributing everything. We've talked about that idea before. Or what I like to do, no surprise here if you've watched my other videos, I like to multiply using the box method. So I'm going to start with a 2x3 box, and I'm going to write my terms outside the box that I want to multiply together. So x squared, 7x, and 12. And I want to multiply that by a 3x and a -4. And so, of course, what I'll do, just like we've done in every other video when we've used the box method, I'm going to go through and multiply rows and columns together. So, for example, x squared times 3x is 3x to the third. I'll add those exponents together, and then I'll keep going. So 7x times 3x is 21x squared. 12 times 3x is 36x. And let's do the same on the bottom row. And this would be a good time if you want to pause the video and try this on your own. That'd be fine. -28x, and then finally -48. And so once that box is filled up, then I want to look for any like terms that I have and get those added together to get my final answer. So 3x to the third, if I write this in descending order. My x squared terms are right there, so 21x squared and -4x squared add up to a positive 17x squared. Next up, my x terms are right there. 36x minus 28x is a positive 8x. And then finally, that constant of -48 will just go to the end. So there's my new function once I multiply together the g and the f.